Welcome back. All right, so 6 games tonight. If you're looking for the earlier games, I already reviewed them. They've got their own videos. We're going to start things off with St. Louis and Florida. How does that sound? And another big comeback victory. Which good timing because, hey, I had just done a video on that. So it was Grace versus Knight in this one. Ekblad would score at 1 minute and 20 seconds from Lusterinen and Forsling. He turned around and wired it. It was a rush opportunity. So a rough start for Grace. The shots are 4-0 for the Panthers at 2.5 minutes, and at 2:58, Gudas kind of floats one in. That was a rough one on Grace. So there was definitely discussion early about, will Grace finish the game? Forsling has a rush chance that's saved. A big rebound after that. It was cleared, but again, it looked like, Grace is struggling here. Panthers press at 5 minutes. Blues get their first shot at 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Panthers already had 10. And then VGK scores from Reinhardt at 8:47. It's on a breakaway. It's their 12th shot. St. Louis still had one shot. So it's 3-0 in favor of Florida, less than 10 minutes into the game. Grace is not pulled, and there was discussion of that. And even Pang said, I'm waiting to see if Berby's going to look down. He didn't look down the bench, so I guess he's staying in there. So it is odd that was happening, and then the rest of the game unfolds as it does. Rosen broke up a 3-on-1. Puck goes the other way. Saad gets St. Louis on the board from Levo and O'Reilly at 11:39. Buried the rebound on a rush. That was only the third shot for St. Louis. So I thought, all right, if both nets are open for business, Blues still have a chance here. Blues press with 7.5 minutes left with 1 minute and 16 seconds left. They get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. The Panthers finish the kill. Blues press after it ends. Lindell fires one wide as the Panthers would press. We then had a fight between Krug and Hornquist. Today was the day of odd fights between guys you wouldn't have expected. Blues get a power play. There's back-to-back clears by the Panthers. That power play is killed off. No shots for St. Louis. No momentum out of it. In fact, the shots are 8-0 for the Panthers at 9.5 minutes. So they're up 3-1. They're out shooting St. Louis badly in the second period. Looks like this one's basically done. So the Blues go back to the power play. Saad has a chance that's saved. And then right after the kill ends, on a 2-on-1, Florida makes it 4-1. It's Lindell from Reinhardt and Forsling at 12:50. Then there's a near miss for VGK and close. The Blues press with 2.5 minutes left. There was a last-minute press by the Blues as well. But after 2 periods, it is 4-1 for Florida. So we're going to the third period. Krug has a blast that's saved. The Blues get a power play. That was killed off. The Blues press after. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. We go back to 5-on-5. O'Reilly scores to make it 4-2 from Rosen and Saad at 8:16. Panthers get a power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by the Blues there that manages to kill it. Buchnevich has a net drive. That's blocked. But then Kyrou, who's on a heater, he scores from Falk and Krug at 13:43. Wired at top corner on a rush. And then at 16:11, the game gets tied. Yeah. Tarasenko from Barbashev and Buchnevich at 16:11. And then the Blues, with all the momentum in the world and all the shots in the world, press for the lead. Remember, Florida, coming into this year, they're known as a team that's really dangerous in the third period. That has evaporated. So we go into overtime. The Panthers controlled early, but they turn the puck over, and Kyrou scores on a fast break to end it. Scores from Krug and Tarasenko at 1:08, so Krug with a fight and a couple of helpers. It's not a bad night. Your final score is 5-4 for St. Louis in overtime. They stopped the losing skid at, 2? It was 2? Anyways, so now they're 11-10. Florida 10-8-3 wearing those beautiful reverse retros, but they lose here. So the shots 17-11 Florida in the first, 16-6 Florida in the second. Very un-Florida-like third period. St. Louis outshot them 19-4 and got the only shot in the overtime. Final shots 37-37. Power play St. Louis 0-4. Florida 0-2. Hits 21-17 St. Louis. Grace saves 33 out of 37. Knight saves 32 out of 37. And that's your difference. Next up, Toronto and Pittsburgh. So, yep, Toronto. Shalgren versus DeSmith in this one. Marner would score at 40 seconds. Just kind of put it through DeSmith and made it look easy. From Matthews, and that was the first shot for Toronto. Crosby exits. That added to what was a slow start for the Penguins. He would return to the game, but he was gone for a bit, and it definitely didn't help. Penguins have a rush. That draws a power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by the Leafs, though. They do kill that off. Zucker can't bury one in close. Carter fires one wide on a fast break. Letang broke up a 2-on-1. Crosby returns at this stage. The shots are 6-4 for the Leafs with 7.5 minutes left, and just get worse. Mete has a shot that's held. The Leafs get a power play. Tavares is denied. There were some really dangerous chances at the beginning of it. Giordano has a shot that deflects out, and Pittsburgh survives. They do kill that off. Malgin's then denied and close. The Leafs were stifling the Penguins' attack so far. There wasn't any kinds of rushes. It was really a clinical game in that first period for a team that apparently doesn't have a defense. Second period, Tavares fires high from the slot. The Leafs get a power play. There's good shorthanded forechecking from Paling during that. Post for Malgin, that's killed off. The Penguins press at 4 minutes, but they're kept to the outside. Nylander has a net drive. That's blocked out. Liljegren has a blast that's held. The shots are 23-6 for Toronto at this point in the game. Like, it is ridiculous how much Toronto's outplaying Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So there's a post for Bunting on a one-timer. The Penguins score after the whistle. The puck was loose, but the whistle blew before they tried to shovel that in, so no goal. Penguins press at 9.5 minutes, and then Holmberg scores from Marner at 9:55 on a turnover. Really nice pass by Marner, and Holmberg buries it. And then at 10:50, fantastic shot by Nylander, puts them up 3-0. Matthews and Bunting with the assists. So people make a big deal about Matthews not getting enough goals right now, but he's still getting points, and the Leafs are still getting results. He will heat up. Penguins get a power play with 4:36 left. It was killed off. The Leafs iced the puck after. I think it was Liljegren that iced it there. He didn't realize they weren't shorthanded anymore. Strong second half, though, by the Penguins, giving a little bit of hope, maybe, but third period. Early Leafs power play, solid penalty kill by the Penguins. They killed that off. Just the 2 shots allowed. Penguins press at 3 minutes. Archibald has a shot that's saved. More pressure from the Penguins. The Leafs press at 8 minutes, but 11:38, Pittsburgh gets on the board. It's Raquel from Gensel and Crosby, and he roofed it from in close. No chance on that one for Shalgren. So then Matthews answers from Bunting at 14:36, and fantastically ridiculous play from Bunting as he's laying on the ice to get that puck to Matthews. Great play, makes it 4-1. The Penguins would press with 4 minutes left, but they don't get anything more. Your final score is 4-1 for Toronto. They go to 13-5-5 on the season. Pittsburgh drops to 11-8-3 with the loss. The shots, 17-5 Toronto in the first, 10 apiece in the second, 14-11 Toronto in the third. Final shots, 41-26 for the Leafs. Power plays, Toronto 0 for 3. Pittsburgh 0 for 2. The hits, 57-23 for Pittsburgh. Heavy hitting game. Shalgren, 25 saves on 26 shots. DeSmith with 37 saves on 41 shots. All right, next up, Washington in against New Jersey. The last time these teams met, Washington won 6-3. I think the Devils were aware of that. So it's Lindgren versus Vanacek. The shots are only 1-0 for the Caps at 3.5 minutes. The Devils press at 4.5. They're kept to the outside. Howland fires one wide on a rush. There's a near miss on a rebound by Strome. Then there's a crossbar for Eller on a 2-on-1, so close there. The Devils, they then rush. That draws a power play. It takes over a minute to set up, but late in the power play, Hischier scores from Mercer and Hamilton at 9:04. Buried the rebound there. Nice play by Hischier. He gets to double digits in goals already. The Devils press for another. The Caps get a power play. Ovechkin has a shot that's saved. They do cycle it. Carlson has a blast that's blocked. That's killed off. The Caps would press with 2 minutes left. Vanacek preserves the lead late. Vanacek had a fantastic game against his former teammates. Second period. Eller has a net feed that's blocked. The shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes. Devils keeping the Caps to the outside. And then Hughes, really smart goal here at 5:59. While he's going past the net, he just banks it in off Lindgren's skate. Lindgren a little bit out of position. He takes advantage. Nice goal scorer's goal. Caps press for an answer. Marino has a shot then that's saved. Mercer's denied. And then Hughes gets the second goal of the period to put New Jersey up 3-0 from Graves and Mercer at 9:19. The Caps press again for an answer. The Devils, though, get a power play. That's killed off. The Caps press with 2.5 minutes left. But we're going to the third period with the score 3-0. And one question that was out there was, so shutout? Yeah, there were a few goaltenders that went into the third period with shutouts in these evening games, and none of them came out with a shutout. So pressed by the Caps at 2 minutes. The shots are 3-1 in favor of Washington at 4 minutes. Mercer steals one, but the Caps would get it back. There's a power play then for Washington. Ovechkin has a blast that's held. Oshie's denied. And then there's a save on Ovi as it comes to an end. The Devils were pinned down a bit there, but Vanacek would manage to hold. Then there was a near miss for Sharon Govich, but Hughes with, I believe they said, his third career hat trick. He scores from Howla at 9:51. That's wired on a fast break, so very well done by Hughes. Caps get a power play. It might have been his first hat trick. I don't know. It was hours ago. My memory isn't what it used to be. So on the power play, Washington gets on the board. So ruins the shutout for Vanacek. Carlson from Strome and Johansson, or Johansson, depending on how he's pronouncing it today, at 11:36. I know he wants it to be Johansson this year. The Devils then press with 6.5 minutes left. Eventually, they get that fifth goal at Zetterlund, who's in the running for Rookie of the Year, from McLeod and Siegenthaler at 14:50 or 14:47. The Devils then get a power play that's killed off, but you're not trying to score there. You're just trying to take another 2 minutes off the clock and bring this one home. They win 5-1. They've now won, what, 15 out of 16? Yeah, they're doing okay. 18-4 on the season. Washington 9-11-3. The shots 10-7 Washington in the first, 13 apiece in the second, 15-9 Washington in the third. Overall, the shots were 38-29 for the Caps. Power plays, Washington 1 for 4, New Jersey 1 for 3. Both teams had 11 hits in this game. Lindgren saved 24 out of 29. Vanacek saved 37 out of 38. And again, the goaltending has been excellent for New Jersey throughout this stretch. Next up, the game with the fighting. A lot of fighting. Philadelphia and the Islanders. And it didn't start out this way. In fact, this was kind of a snoozer to start. I'm going to be honest. It was Sandstrom versus Varlamov in this. Pelech would score from Beauvillier at 4:33. It was not a really noteworthy period, though. Bellows then had a rush chance. It was held. The fans called one. Ref doesn't. Shots are 4-1 for the Islanders at 7 minutes. Aho has a blast that's tipped wide as the Islanders press. Beauvillier with a net feed that's sent wide, and then Philadelphia ties it. It's Sedlak from Hayes and Provorov at 15:27. Perfect tip on what was a rare chance for the Flyers in that first period. And the Islanders kind of went into neutral in that second half of the period. They didn't get much going. They had 4 shots at 7 minutes. They only had 2 for the rest of the period. So it was, and I mean, the Flyers only had 4 shots in the whole period. So it was kind of a sleepy period from an offensive perspective. Second period, things pick up. Farabee has a net drive that's defended, some good back and forth. Not a lot of chances at this stage. Flyers get a power play. D'Angelo's shot's blocked. The Islanders clear it out. Provorov has a shot that's saved. There was a shorthanded fast break for Nelson. That saved. The power play's killed off. The shots are 7-2 for the Flyers at 7.5 minutes. And then the Flyers get the lead. It's Farabee from Hayes and Sedlak at 9:28. Things get kind of pushy then after a hold by Varlamov, and this is where the physicality in the game starts to really ramp up, and these guys really don't like each other. Oh, and they play again on Tuesday. More pushing after a Varlamov save. Holmstrom then had a shot that was held as the Islanders press. Things get brawly after a Provorov hit that they didn't like, so the Islanders come out of that with a power play, which Flyers don't like that either. And then the Islanders score on that. Flyers don't like that either. Parise from Pulock at 16:38. That was with 5 seconds left in the power play. As Butch Goring said, that's why power plays are 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes the entire 2 minutes to get the goal. And honestly, he put it around the goaltender. It was a nice goal by Parise. Flyers press in the final minutes, but after 2 periods, the score's tied at 2. Third period, early press by the Flyers. The shots are 2-0 in favor of Philly at 2.5 minutes, but then Nelson wires it on a rush from Pulock at 2:57, and then at 3:19, Beauvillier scores from Pulock as well. The Flyers then get a power play. That was killed off. Things get punchy as the Islanders get a power play. And yeah, it was punchy from here. Parise's denied. There's more pushing, and then Parise would score on the power play with 3 seconds left in it. So 5 seconds left in one, 3 seconds left in another. Doesn't matter. They count as power play goals, the same as a team wiring it 3 seconds into the power play. So it's Parise from Bailey and Pulock at 11:57. Pulock had himself a game, didn't he? And that was something. Then things get brawly with 3:16 left. I was kind of disappointed they didn't play Stone Cold music because there was 3:16 left. It's right there. It's glass shatters. Anyways, Delorier jumped Romanov. Delorier just decided now's a good time to lose my mind. And so the fights are on, and he was out. Here's the thing. He did not get an instigator. He absolutely jumped Romanov. He gets, I think, 17 minutes and penalties out of it. I don't understand how he didn't get an instigator, especially since the next game I want to talk about, there was an instigator for way less than what happened with Delorier here. So, yeah, no instigator. And it's important because if you get an instigator penalty in the final 5 minutes of the game, you are suspended from the next game. So, Philadelphia loses this one 5-2. The Islanders 15-8. The Flyers in free fall 7-10-5. The shots 6-4 Islanders in the first, 15-8 Flyers in the second, and 9 apiece in the third. Final shots are 28-23 for the Flyers. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-2, Islanders 2-3. The hits 26-25 for the Islanders. Sandstrom saves 18 out of 23. Varlamov saves 26 out of 28. The goaltending really stands up for the Islanders yet again. And yeah, I can't imagine John Tortorella is going to be very pleasant for the next few days here. But anyways, I do need to change boards. Alrighty, and just the 2 games. I checked next Saturday, it's 13 games, and I think there's like 6 of them starting at 4 o'clock. So next Saturday, it's back to just the craziness. But hey, you know, Colorado at home against Dallas. They threw me off because they wore the Rockies jerseys. I have to say those reverse retros, and I know this is going to sound like a broken record, kind of like them. So, yeah, it's Wedgwood versus Georgiev in this one. Early Avs power play. Conference denied and close, but then on a turnover, you can't turn it over to McKinnon. You just can't. And at 2:05, he scores the power play marker. Stars winning faceoffs, but they keep turning it over. What good is it to win a faceoff if you're handing it to the other team when you win the faceoff? Just because you're the guest doesn't mean you have to be that accommodating. So, Taves has a shot that's kicked aside. The Stars win the first 10 faceoffs in the game, handed almost every one of them away. The irony being when the Avs won their first faceoff, they turned it over to the Stars. So the shots are 7-6 for Dallas at 7.5 minutes. Marchment has a shot that's kicked aside, and then Manson would score to make it 2-0 from Rantanen and Lehkonen at 13:51. In between times when him and Marchment were going at it. Him and Marchment have a thing going. So he buried a loose puck, Manson did, gets the goal there. The Stars press with 3.5 minutes left, and then we go to the second period with the game 2-0 for Colorado. Stars press, that draws them a power play. It was Manson to the box. And then it starts with a Stars turnover, so that's encouraging. Marchment has a shot that's held. The power play's killed off. Gerard then has a blast that deflects wide. McKinnon's denied the Avs with some momentum here. Makar has a rush chance that's saved. Manson right back in the box. The Stars back to the power play. They score on this one. It was originally given to Ben. It was changed to Pavelski's goal from Heiskanen and Robertson. Robertson keeps his point-scoring streak alive at 8:13 of the second period. So he continues what's been a franchise record point-scoring streak. But Colorado answers. Hunt from Newhook and Kaut at 10:43. The Stars would then go back to the power play. Then there's too many Avs on the ice with 1 second left in that power play, so the Stars go back to the power play. Then there was a weird whistle for an injury, not an injury. We thought there was an injury, but there's not an injury, so there's no penalty on the play. And I was like, okay, you do you, dude. And even the Dallas announcers, I watched the Dallas feed, and they were like, I don't know what's going on here. Yep, it's fine. Manson goes back to the box again. Shorthanded rush by Lehkonen, that's held, and that power play is killed off. So Manson racking up the penalty minutes. We go to the third period with Colorado ahead 3-1. There's an early power play for the Avs. Aggressive penalty kill by Dallas. They understood they couldn't allow another one. McKinnon has a shot that's blocked as it comes to an end. The Avs then press at 3.5 minutes. Too many Stars on the ice. The Avs then get the power play. There was a crossbar for McDonald. That power play is killed off, just the one shot. And then O'Connor buries a rebound on a rush. Manson with the assist. So Manson with a goal, an assist, in about 40 penalty minutes tonight. And that's at 7:01. Rebound buried on a rush. I don't think Manson had a fight tonight, so he doesn't get the Gordie Howe hat trick that I know of. Newhook then had a tip shot that was held. And then we get Glendening versus McDonald. They gave Glendening the instigator, which, again, I was watching the Dallas feed, but they were kind of confused as to how. Now, I'm not saying he didn't instigate, but as I mentioned about the Philadelphia game earlier, there are definitely worse instigators that aren't called instigators. So that means that because this was in the final 2 minutes of the game, Glendening's suspended for the next Dallas game. So Dallas loses this one 4-1, which is the important thing. Colorado's 12-6-1. Dallas is 12-6-4. Anyways, the shots in this one, 16-10 Dallas in the first, 20-10 Dallas in the second, 16-6 Colorado in the third. Final shots 42-36 for Dallas. Power plays, the Stars 1 for 5, Colorado 1 for 4. The hits 36-33 for Colorado. Wedgwood played well, 32 saves on 36 shots. It's Colorado. They're pretty impressive. Colorado gets 41 saves on 42 shots by Georgiev. So while those who don't like Georgiev keep saying, well, he's going to fall apart, it's going to happen. Hasn't happened yet. He's looked really quite good. I think he's about 10-2-1 now or something like that. So, yeah, it's not bad. All right, last game of the night, and honestly, the biggest shock of the night. And let us go through this. So, it's Martin versus Thompson. Stevenson's denied and close. Vegas presses at 1.5 minutes. Stone gets absolutely robbed. The first 2 shots that Vegas had were very good, and Martin showed he was dialed in. Then there's a press by Vegas at 5.5 minutes. Bear has a shot that deflects out. The shots on net are 3-0 for Vegas at 6.5 minutes. Mikheyev then had a tip saved as the Canucks get some pressure. The Canucks pin Vegas down a bit. They draw a power play. And it's Brock Besser, who's on a 9-game point streak of his own, from Ekman Larson and Garland at 9:23. I always said the smartest thing the Canucks did was pick those two guys up. Vegas then gets a power play. There was a near miss by Stone. That puck deflects out. Then we get 11 seconds of 4-on-4 before it becomes a Canucks power play. Everything's killed off there. Miller fires one wide and close. Things get pushy after a hole by Thompson, and then with 1:08 left, the Canucks get a power play. And at 18:57, right away at the start of it, Miller scores from Hughes and Kuzmenko through a screen, which I might be talking through right now. But surprisingly, it's 2-0 Vancouver after one. I celebrated neither goal. Nothing. I didn't even react when the Canucks score. And I don't know if I'm the only Canucks fan that doesn't react when they score, but I don't. Second period, I mean, if I'm there in person, sure, but watching TV, I'm like, we'll see how this turns out. Second period, early jump for Vegas. Pettersson has a net feed. That's blocked out. Theodore couldn't bury one on a rush. Back-to-back icings by the Canucks. Really strong play by Vegas. They press at 8 minutes. They get a power play. That's killed off. It gets 3 shots. So Vegas is pushing, right? Which you expect in Vegas. Canucks then get a power play. Miller couldn't bury one. The Canucks cycle. And on what was the first shot of the second period, the Canucks score. It's Pettersson on the power play from Horvat. Miller at 11:34. It's the first power play goal he's had this season, and it's the first time he scored from his spot. He's got his spot. He finally scored there. And then at 13:19, Kuzmenko scores, a result of a really solid press by the fourth line. Amon and Joshua with the assists there. So it's 4-0. That's 2 goals and 2 shots for the Vancouver Canucks in the second period. Did I celebrate? No. Vegas tries to answer. The Canucks go back to the power play. That was killed off. It was a good power play, though. The Canucks are getting shots now. Vegas rushes, and then Horvat, at the very last second, legit, 19:59, scores his 17th to put him in the lead in the National Hockey League goal-scoring race from Miller and Höglander. It doesn't matter if Horvat finishes atop the list. I cheered when Horvat scored. It had to be 5-0 after 2 periods for me to finally cheer and go, yeah. And it was more because Horvat got another one. And there's Miller with an assist. So a goal and an assist for him. Höglander looked good on that line. Maybe he stays on that line from game to game. We'll see. But third period, early press by Vegas. I'm still not convinced, though. I still haven't put records up or anything. I had already put up the record updated between those two teams in that game about midway through the second. I was like, Colorado's not losing this. When they scored to make it 3-1, I said, yeah, that's done. 5-0 Vancouver. I'm like, we'll see. So pushy after a hole by Martin. The shots are 2-1 for Vegas at 4 minutes. They press again at 5.5. The shots are up to 5-1. Lecision at a wraparound, that was held. We then had a fight between Garland and Marchessault, because sure, Garland got kicked out of the game because he didn't have his tied down, but he's Garland. How often does he fight? So, and then the Vegas account put out, Marchessault won that fight. And it's like, did he though? Like it was, there wasn't much to it. But I guess wherever you could take small victories, Garland was already getting a penalty. Marchessault probably should have been penalized on the play as well. But as has always been the case, the retaliation always gets called. So if you get cross-checked, don't trip the guy that cross-checked you. So it becomes a Vegas power play. That's killed off. We then had a fight between Joshua and Kolasar. That's more like it. Those are the guys you expect. And then there were Bruce there at his chance. In Vegas, I understand that Vegas fans were doing that for Bruce Cassidy. This was not for Bruce Cassidy. However, Marchessault would score from Smith and Theodore at 16:44 because we can't have nice things. Martin was a little bit overly aggressive. He was kind of out of position. Marchessault buries it. Makes this final score 5-1. Vancouver goes to 8-10-3 with the win. Vegas drops to 16-6-1. They're starting to struggle. Vancouver's won 4 out of 5 now. The shots 13-7 Vancouver in the first, 12-7 Vancouver in the second, 13-11 Vegas in the third. They've lost back-to-back home games against Seattle and Vancouver. Final shots 36-27 for Vancouver. Power plays 3 for 5 for Vancouver. And the league's worst penalty kill went 3 for 3. Vegas couldn't get a power play on their 3 opportunities. It's bizarro world. It really is. The hits were 41-32 for Vegas. Martin saves 26 out of 27, and Thompson saves 31 out of 36. Yeah, this was a weird one. There's no other way to put it. This was a bizarre game. But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.